Good morning, everyone, and welcome once again to Urbanize Hub Romania and our Urban Talk section. This year, we've been meeting to talk about a great deal of subjects, and we've opened, hopefully, your eyes to a lot of innovative ideas when it comes to cities of the future and how us, as active agents in our cities, can move things in the right direction. And throughout the year, there have been many, let's say, subjects that we've realized are not really that commonplace and not that many people aware of them. And so today, we wanted to give you a better, let's say, give you an opportunity to get a better understanding of two projects and two names that we've been talking about, but never really gave too much detail about them. And that is the EIT Urban Mobility platform and their project, the Regional Innovation Scheme, or RIS. Today, to talk about it is Bence Huba, who is the RIS Manager at EIT Urban Mobility. And the reason we're talking about these projects in general is because there are so many resources out there. And in Romania, we do have this idea that we are champions at complaining, that there are so many things that are against us and there are not that many elements to help us grow. When in fact, sometimes it's just the fact that we are not aware of all of these great tools. And this is what today's conversation will be focused on. First and foremost, thank you, Bence, for joining. It is a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for this opportunity.
It is a pleasure. Let us first start with a better understanding of EIT Urban Mobility. What does it stand for, and what is its main goal? Like, one of the things that I saw on the website that I love is the idea to create livable urban spaces. And I found that to be a very worthwhile objective. Tell us a bit more about how EIT Urban Mobility works and it aims to achieve.
Yes, the name EIT is Urban Mobility is coming from we are one of the EIT kicks. So EIT is the European Innovation and Technology Office in Budapest, and it's a European agency to boost innovation in Europe, because we can see that the future of Europe is very much connected with our ability to innovate. And we can see that the countries who are having a high innovation potential are doing or having much better future options. And because of that, EIT is started this initiative more than 10 years ago. And they started to establish different KICs. KIC is standing for Knowledge and Innovation Community. It means that the key stakeholders are coming together and forming a community and trying to innovate together. And the first ones were EIT Climate, EIT Energy, EIT Digital. Maybe you know them. And later on, there was EIT Food and EIT Health and EIT Raw Materials. And now in 2020, there are two new KICs, EIT Manufacturing and EIT Urban Mobility. And EIT Urban Mobility is one of the young ones. And we have seen that our cities has been built since many hundred years before, and there are always new and new challenges and new solutions, and maybe the solutions are causing also new challenges. So we can see that our cities and the dance of the population cannot served by individual cars anymore, because you have in all the larger cities always traffic jams, and this traffic jam is always, of course, connected with high emissions caused by the cars, and a lot of accidents. About 60-70% of the accidents are happening in the cities, and of course by this impact, you are having a lot of negative impacts in the city, and you have a scarcity of public spaces because everything is occupied by the transport. But we would like to have in the future other cities. So we would like to have really user-friendly smart cities. You can you have a much better service level and a much better feeling and other social contacts and other possibilities to meet the other citizens. And because of that, we are trying to reform the mobility in the city. But reforming the mobility means that you are reforming the whole city because mobility is everywhere and connected with everything. And because of that, if you are changing it, you can make also much larger changes because, for example, if you have if you don't need the streets anymore or don't need so many streets and so many parking places, you have a lot of free place in the city to use for other goals. And maybe one other information about the EIT Urban Mobility, that we have analyzed the cities in Europe, and we have seen that in all the cities, people are working in silos. So there is a travel or transport policy, there is policy to use the public spaces, there is some social policies and so on, but they are in the most of the cases not integrated. And we think that also some of the challenges is caused by these silos, that we are not thinking really holistic, and we are not using the smart city elements of the city for a holistic approach. And EIT as a new community is important new European initiative. So we have now 132 partners in 20 countries. So it's getting really pan-European. And we are having funding close to 500 million from EIT itself for the next 7 years to start pilots to make new innovative solutions in Europe cities. And maybe some more data for impact. So last week we have had our Urban Mobility Summit. It was very interesting, a 3 days event, and we have had over 1,200 registrations, and we have had over 1,000 attendees in this program from 54 countries. So we can see that we are building a network, and we hope that we have a appropriate visibility also worldwide. Are you there, Alex? So I think these projects connected to EIT Urban Mobility are really important for the future, and also for the future of Europe, and also for the future of us people living in the cities.
Indeed, I think this is the part that we miss out on. That it's not just a aesthetic goal towards me. It's also so because the way we live in our cities impacts our relationship with the environment, impacts our emissions, and this is a very important choice because this will define the future, not just for our communities, but as you said, for Europe as a whole. And I think this is one important subject to mention, because let's say Bucharest and most of the cities in Romania have experienced this incredible success in bringing a great deal of people in, and people have enjoyed economic growth. Now they have a lot of cars. Now they each have the possibility of being independent. And to some, this discussion around innovating the cities in a way that implies, not prioritizing the personal car feels a bit to them like an insult. Like, hey, we worked hard, we want to, and now you're telling us scale back. How has it been your experience when people came with this, with this, let's say, idea that, hey, why not make the streets wider? Why are you asking us to let go of the personal car?
Yeah, you are right. So I think in the culture of Europe, cities are really something very positive. So all the important changes were starting in the cities, and our cities are growing. And also worldwide, you can see that the world population is growing, but the world population is living in the rural areas is decreasing. So it means that this very, very fast growth is just in the cities, and we can see it also in Europe, and maybe we can see more in the Eastern and South European countries, because in some of the old European member states, you can see that, for example, in Belgium and in the Netherlands, you have also urbanization rate of 32 and 92 and 94%. And also in Eastern Europe, for example, we have a urbanization rate 70 to 80%, and we see that the small villages are decreasing or shrinking, and maybe not livable anymore, and the cities are growing. So I would say that to live in a city, it's something very positive. But we all know the negative impacts we are having in the city, and our goal is not to say that okay, you should change your life to a less comfortable one. We try to say, okay, let's make our cities more sustainable, but with the same service level, or with a higher service level. And we can see that, for example, the sharing economy and the car sharing by young people, it's very well accepted. And of course, my generation is not it's used to have their own car, and it's our personal connected. But to be honest, who likes it if you have to go to the service station to make new to make the service, or who likes to go to the car wash, or you can mention a lot of things what you don't have by a sharing car, and you don't have to pay the taxes and the insurance for the 4 year. So if you want, you can go with the bike. But if you would like to go with the car, you have the opportunity also for short ranges, and after you can go with your friend, and you are not concerned that okay, my car will remain there, and I should go back. So there is a lot of flexibility, because in a city, according to the weather and according to your program, there can be different decisions. And maybe if there is a good public transport, there is a good sharing network, a lot of light electric vehicles, you can maybe travel with the same comfort, with less emissions, and maybe more sustainable on long run.
Indeed. There, like you said, there are many advantages that are not seen at first hand. Is mostly, I think, that resistance to change. Now, we wanted to, like I said, the title of today's conversation is around mobility innovation through the Regional Innovation Scheme. And we would like for you to tell us a little bit more about how the Regional Innovation Scheme works. And this way, we can also get an understanding maybe of some projects that came over it. But first, tell us a bit more about how the Regional Innovation Scheme works.
Yes. So the Regional Innovation Scheme is a special tool for special countries made by EIT. And the reason behind is that there are, based on the European Innovation Scoreboard, all the countries are classified as innovation leaders, strong innovators, modest and moderate innovators. And it means that the countries below the average innovation performance are the ones who are the RIS countries. Yes, thank you very much. So you are showing the map, who are the RIS countries, which ones. It's very good. So you can see that mainly the South and Eastern European EU member states and also the H2020 associated countries are the RIS countries. And why is important to have the RIS? So maybe you know that the innovation goals of the European Union are always based on excellence, because we would like to find the best and we would like to support the best, because we hope the most impact and there is the most potential. But it means that we are having also in the innovation performance based on the European Innovation Scoreboard a gap between North and West and South and Eastern Europe. And of course, we would like to close this gap. But if we are always acting based on excellence, it means that we would prefer maybe always the usual countries who are having a very good network in between and who are used to work together. But this is a special scheme focusing on the countries who are not so well presented in the innovation networks. And we would like to scout for the new champions, and we would like to connect them to our community, and we would like to give the possibility for them to innovate with us and to show the world what kind of products they can develop, and maybe we can help them to access the European market, or maybe we can help them to access the market, the international market. And to the projects, of course, all the KICs are focusing on three main areas. It's innovation, business creation, and education. And these areas are having the same goal to boost the innovation. So we would like to help by the education to have from students to make them entrepreneurs. We would like to have new companies with the business creation supporting startups, and we would like to boost the innovation with helping companies to have new innovative solutions. And because of that, we are focusing on that three areas. And now in the first year, we have had 9 different innovation projects in different countries of Europe, different RIS countries. And we were very happy that we have had several cross-border projects. So not just participating in one country, but different organizations from different countries. And these organizations are unifying or helping to integrate the knowledge triangle. So normally there is a research institution, there is an education institution or university, and there is industry, and they are working together to present solutions for for the market. And we are also having some special events like this Citython or Hackathon in Romania, supporting new teams to have an idea competition and to start with new ideas. And all of these ideas can be the new companies and maybe the new Googles or new Microsofts. Let's hope.
Yes, indeed. Let's hope so. So, in the end, this is a great idea of like a great example of how things worked in Romania, and people can, the people that have been following Urbanize Hub Romania have seen the ideas that have come up. Like in the past few weeks, we've had the projects from Brașov, from Timișoara, and Galați, so that people got to see what came out of it. As an example, can you tell us about one project from another country, just as a reference to see how other countries deal with it, or how one of those cross-cultural, country projects, if they've came up with different ideas or were there different formats? Because we want to make people aware that this is a European movement. These are things are happening in parallel, and we are very much connected by the same things and the same ideals.
Yes, so we are having a city club by EIT Urban Mobility with 50 cities participating, and these cities are working on the challenges. They are important for us. We have identified 200 challenges, and these 200 challenges are classified in 7 action lines, and we are working with the 7 action lines. These challenges are, some of them are very future oriented, some of them are very traditional. For example, one of the focus areas is active mobility. And if we are talking about active mobility, we are talking mainly about walking, about bicycle or cycling, and maybe about the new light electric vehicle and ride sharing. It means that, for example, in the COVID times, we have seen, and we have had also a special COVID call, and it was very successful. We have seen that a lot of the cities have started separate bike lanes because the traffic was, or the car traffic was decreasing. But there was need for new bike lanes, and they changed. So also, for example, in Budapest, we have new bike lanes, but in other cities like Barcelona, Amsterdam, who had already a very good network, they started to improve because there was a need. But we can also talk about future-oriented solutions. Like drone-based last mile delivery. We have also a project in Romania in the RIS, and it's very interesting how to change your city to be able to accept drone-based cargo delivery, because it has also special challenges. How to manage all the drones and how to be sure that there can no accident happen. Or we have also different projects in smart cities with automotive or automated driving. So there are a lot of different projects, and I could list them for a long time. So I think there are really very interesting ones, and the COVID situation is a very unique situation for us now, and we can see that how cities could change if there is less traffic, and what we could do if there are alternative modes of traffic.
And This network of 50 cities, like you said, gave us was even more active due to the COVID situation. There are a lot of small innovations that each city came about, trying to adapt to this new reality. If we think of 2021, and let's say the next year's coming by, because let's say most people are expecting that the COVID situation will be behind us at one point, but then a new existential crisis will come our way: climate change, and as well as many others, this fast trend of urbanization. If you were to think about cities also in Romania, but in general for the Eastern European area, what do you think they should focus on? What should cities focus on as they try to build their cities and develop them in a way that meets those challenges of the future?
I think a special challenge in the RIS because we have the possibility to make a jump. So Western European cities were improving in a direction they don't want to have anymore, and maybe we can make a jump that we say, okay, the Eastern European cities are developing very fast. But this development will channel in a good direction, that we don't have this dead end states what some of the Western European cities have had already. For example, the rate of public transport is in Eastern Europe now higher than in Western Europe, and the Western European cities would be very happy to have also this high rate. Of course, you should analyze the complete model shift, and transport modes and environmental friendly transport modes are very positive. But the most environmental friendly and in very much cases the most comfortable is, for example, public transport. And if you can make a good public transport service, it means that the people are happy, and maybe you have also a more cheap alternative for them. And we can see that in some Western European countries, the cities try to make the public transport free just to attract the people to use the public transport. Or they are making, building different big park and ride systems just to attract people to let your car on the border of the city, and you should continue your journey with the public transport. So we have also some specialties because we are having a much older car fleet normally in Eastern Europe and in South Europe than the Western European countries. We have a high share of public transport, what we should keep, but our cities are very much car dominated. So if you are walking in some front-runner Western European cities, you can see that you don't see any parking cars, or not very many parking cars on the streets, because they know that the streets are very, very expensive, and they are very, very important public spaces, and because of them they are trying to have other accommodation for the cars, and you cannot build a house anymore without a garage and so on. So you are forced to go in that direction, and maybe on some of these measures we should also take, because if I walk in the streets of the Eastern European countries, normally I say everywhere car parkings, and maybe you could sit there where is a car parking now, and you could drink a coffee with your friends, and you could discuss things and maybe it's better than to have a car on the street.
Indeed. Now, we usually, one of the things that we love to do is, besides making people aware of what opportunities are out there, we would also love to help them out if they want to be involved. So, if, for example, in our audience today, we either have people from local administration or innovators in cities and communities that would want to be part of these projects or would love to learn more, where could they go to in order to find out more, or maybe be involved in either the City Lab or other projects?
Yes, so we would like to welcome you in the City Club, because the City Club is really an organization like a club, so there is no membership fee. Just the forerunner cities are working together and sharing the experience with other cities. And it's very important for us to have also RIS cities there, because as we were talking about, RIS cities have some other challenges than the front-runner cities. So you are always invited to participate in our City Club, and you will find our homepage, eiturbanmobility.eu, also the link to the City Club, and also the contacts of my colleagues Jordi and the director Florinda Boschetti, working with the City Club. But we have a yearly innovation cycle. It means that in the end of summer and in the autumn, we are starting with ideation. What should be a new call about? And in the winter, we are making matchmaking, and there are different matchmaking events, and you can be invited also there if you would like, and if you are signalizing your interest. And after the matchmaking in the spring, we are making our new calls, and in these calls has everybody the possibility to participate. Not only just our partners, not just only our co-partners, but all organizations, all entities are welcome to participate in different projects. And for example, a city who is open for new solutions is very much welcome, because we always looking for cities who can work as test beds for new solutions, and they can verify our solutions, because you have the challenges, and some of the teams are working on the solutions, but the solution is just a good solution. It's accepted by the citizens, and how to involve the citizens and how to get their acceptance in different fields. It can be tested just in different cities. So cities are always very much welcome. But if we are talking about decision makers in the administrations or professionals in the administrations, with some small changes, you can boost the innovation potential very much. For example, what I have seen in by some of our German partners, for example, if they are making regulation, and you know that Germans always are making regulations for everything, but if they are making a regulation, or a new law or something other, you will see that they are having always a special paragraph that this regulation is not to use in piloting areas. And if you have this paragraph, it helps you a lot to have new solutions, because normally if you start to work with the city, it's always there is always some concerns that okay, this solution seems to be very innovative and very good, and we would like to try it, but it's not in line with our regulation, and we have to change the regulation, and maybe this change can take 1 year time or more. But if you are making the regulations like this, that you are having a special piloting paragraph, and you say that if there is a new solution in test, this whole regulation it's not required. It's a good accelerator for this pilots and for the testbed activities.
Indeed. So I think the first recommendation that we can have to people tuning in, first to check out the website, the EIT Urban Mobility.eu website. There you'll find more about the City Club and all the other initiatives. And we can be, as Urbanize Hub Romania, we can be a connector. So if you have any questions, specific details, you can write us here on the Facebook page, or to our. You can sign up to our newsletter, and then if you want to find out more, we'll definitely know where to send you forward. Hopefully that this can lead to great initiatives and ideas. Bence, thank you very much for this conversation. It was a pleasure.
Maybe one more last comment.
Sure.
That we are planning to have a partner in Romania who is acting for us as a local RIS hub. So we will make the call next year, and we are looking for this partner. And together we can scout for all the future champions, for students, for our educational program, for professionals, for companies, industrial companies, cities. So you are always welcome to connect to our community. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I was actually about to ask, like, if you had any special plans for next year. So you already beat me to the punch. But thank you for that. And I hope this what we're also going to promote and come back with the subject once the call will be open. And I really hope you'll find a worthwhile and strong partner, because it's a regional innovation, and everything around urban mobility in Romania is something that I believe a lot of people are hungry for, and there's a lot of talent that can't wait to be part of the subject. Thank you once again, Bence. It was a pleasure to have you here, and we look forward to working together next year, because the great challenges of our cities will keep on going, and sometimes it's not the failure of our cities, but it's the success of our cities that is the hardest thing to manage. And hopefully we can lead the success to a bigger and a brighter future. Thank you very much, and to everyone tuning in. Thank you for tuning into this year's last live stream. If you've been part of it all the way through here, we're glad to make it relevant and applicable for all of you. And if this is your first time, subscribe to Urbanize Hub Romania and to our newsletter, and we'll be in touch, because next year, 2021, has a lot of great plans involved for everyone. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great end of the year. See you next time.
Thank you very much.